Well, that ain't really how you want to start the road trip now, is it? My boy Gibby got touched up. Let's have a mound visit.
Let's go O's!
What's going on, Birdland? Baltimore Bob's here, and welcome to the Baltimore Bob's YouTube channel where we discuss all things Baltimore Orioles. I'm your host, Bobs, and in this episode, we are going to unfortunately talk about the 9-2 loss to the Mariners as the Birds open up their road trip in Seattle. And the big story in this one is Kyle Gibson takes the mound, the wily-eyed veteran, and he got touched up a little bit tonight. It was definitely not his best performance. Kyle Gibson takes the loss. He goes 5 1/3, gives up 12 hits, 9 earned runs, 4 Ks, and 2 walks. And on the other side of that, you could say Castillo is just absolutely flat out phenomenal. He goes 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 8 Ks, and 2 walks. And that was really the big difference in the ball game is Gibby just didn't have his best stuff tonight, and Brandon Hyde tried to let him ride, and he just, he ended up getting touched up pretty bad for 9 earned runs. So, it's going to be a night that he will soon want to forget. So, box score on the night, the Baltimore Orioles finish with 2 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and Seattle finishes with 9 runs on 12 hits and 0 errors. Baltimore Orioles hitting. Adley Rutschman goes 0 for. Gunnar Henderson goes 0 for. Anthony Santander goes 1 for 4. He had a solo shot in the 4th. Ryan O'Hearn goes 1 for 4. Cedric Mullins in his return, welcome back Sid, made an outstanding play out in the outfield in the first inning. Good to see him back, especially for the defensive purposes. Cedric Mullins goes 0 for 4. Ryan Mountcastle goes 0 for 2, but he does draw 2 walks. Adam Frazier goes 0 for 2. Westberg goes 1 for 2 with an RBI. Urias goes 1 for 4. And Colton Cowser goes 0 for 1. The Birds were only able to string together 4 hits on the night. And so when your starting pitcher is struggling and you can only muster together 4 hits, obviously that's a recipe for disaster. So let's go ahead and get into the play-by-play. So top of the first, Castillo comes out and he looks strong from the get-go. Gets the Birds to go 1, 2, 3 and has 2 Ks. Bottom half of the first, that's when the kind of onslaught started, if you will. So Rodriguez lines out the center. Cedric Mullins makes a fantastic play out there in center field, going up against the wall to make a snag. Suarez then singles to left. And then Cal Raleigh comes in as the third batter and hits a stinking bomb to right field, 403 feet for a 2-run shot, and that's kind of what set the tone for the night, if you will. It was a belt-high fastball. That's going to be the politically correct way to say things. Those of you who are around baseball, you know that baseball players sometimes call it something else. Don't put it down in the comments section because this is a kid-friendly ordeal. So anyway, Cal Raleigh takes a belt-high fastball over the right field wall, and the Birds are in an early 2-0 hole. Top of the second, it's more of the same. O'Hearn strikes out. Mullins strikes out. Mountie is able to draw a walk, and then Frazier strikes out. So Castillo's got 5 Ks through 2. Now, Gibby ends up kind of settling down a little bit, if you will. He does give up a couple of hits, but he gives up a 0 in the top half of the second. So, he settled down a little bit. You're feeling kind of good, like, okay, we can turn this thing around. Top of the third, Urias leads off with a single to right, and then Birds can't get anything done. The same for the Mariners in the top half of the third. Now, it's 2-0, big spot, top half of the fourth. And Anthony Santander comes up in a big spot, and he hits a solo shot to cut the lead to 2-1. So the Birds are battling. They can't do anything else in the inning, but it's 2-1 Mariners through the top half of the fourth. And then the wheels fall off the stinking wagon. So We just cut into the lead. It's 2-1, little pitcher's duel right now, if you will. Well, it's not a pitcher's duel anymore because France leads off with a infield single to shortstop. I mean, he ripped one, and there was not much that Gunnar Henderson could do to stop that baseball. It was just hit that hard off the bat, and I mean, it one-hopped. It's one thing if it one-hops like right before your glove, but I mean, it one-hopped like 2 feet out. He tried to play it to the best of his ability, and he just couldn't come up with the baseball. So French reaches on an infield single. Canzoni singles to left, and then Marlowe singles to right. So now you got the bases juiced, and it's looking pretty bad. First three. Anytime the first 3 batters reach base with no outs, you're in for a tough inning. Well, Caballero hits a sacrifice fly to center, and France ends up scoring. That makes it 3-1. Rojas singles to right. Canzoni scores. Marlowe's the third. That makes it 4-1. And then kind of the dagger in the snake and heart, Rodriguez comes up and hits a 354-foot opposite field home run to right to make it 7-1. And that's just kind of when the floodgates were poured open, and Baltimore was in a real ugly hole. So top half of the 5th, Birds can't do anything. Bottom half of the 5th, Gibby is still in there, and they tack on another run because France homers to left 402 feet to make it 8-1. Birds can't do anything in the top half of the 6th, and then the Mariners come in. And then the Mariners come in, bottom half of the 6th. Gibby still pitching. Caballero grounds out to third. Rojas doubles to left. And Rodriguez doubles to left right behind him, making it 9-1 Mariners. The Birds can't do anything else until the top of the 9th when Westberg is able to single in Ryan O'Hearn to make it 9-2. So, look, long story short, that's obviously not how we wanted to start the trip. But Castillo was great, and Gibby was not very good last night. So, Birds moved to 71-45. More bad news. The Tampa Bay Rays squeaked one out against the Cleveland Guardians. So, now the Birds are 2 games up in the AL East. And I'm hoping that this was kind of a one-off. I'm sure that it was. We're definitely going to be looking for the Birds to bounce back in their matchup on Saturday, August 12th, today, if you will, because currently, as I'm making this video right now, it is 3:30 in the morning because your boy's got to work at 5. So we'll see what the Birds can do. 9:40. It's going to be a spot start, kind of interesting ordeal. And I kind of saw him. I was kind of thinking that this was going to happen because I saw Cole Irvin down there hanging out with the pitchers in that last game against George Kirby's going to be on the hill for the Seattle Mariners. He's 10-8 with a 3.32 ERA, 105 WHIP, and it'll be really interesting to see how the Birds battle back after that shellac. And so, hey, good news is that Ced was able to come out there. He made a good play in center field. We've had a couple of issues out there defensively. Not anything that, I wouldn't say was just caused us a game or anything, but it's good to have somebody with Cedric Mullins' caliber back there, and hopefully he can get that bat spun up real quick, so we can get back to the old Cedric Mullins that we all know and love. I miss him in that top spot. I really do. Because he's, you get that speed on, and then you follow that up with Adley, and then the likes of Gunnar and Ryan O'Hearn and Ryan Mountcastle. I think we got a good thing going. So it'll be interesting to see if he can get back in that leadoff spot. But once again, what are you going to do, man? Can't win them all. It's a rough way to start the trip. But the Birds will bounce back, man. Seattle Mariners, 9:40 p.m. Cole Irvin gets the spot start. Brandon Hyde's starting to look at trying to give one of these guys a day off, maybe push everybody to the right a little bit just to keep some arms fresh and just give them that extra day of rest. So you don't want Cole to make that spot start necessarily at 0-1 in the series, but it is what it is. We'll see what Cole can do. He did pitch fairly well when he was out in the pen for a little bit. Going to be an interesting spot. We'll see if the Birds can pick it up, man. Once again, 71-45. They dropped to only 2 games up in the AL East as the Rays beat the Guardians 9-8. And we'll see what they can do. Hopefully my man Cole Irvin just comes in and pitches a gem because the Mariners were not expecting it. And we'll see, man. And even more than that, hopefully we can get these stinking bats hot again because 4 hits ain't going to cut it. So every once in a while we'll have a night like that. And I hope that that was our night and that doesn't carry on to game 2. So, hey, what can you do, baby? So what can you do, baby? Can't win them all. And we'll see if my man Cole can come in a big spot and hold it down. Is what it is, Birdland. So, hey, put down in the comment section what you think about this ball game. What did you think about Kyle Gibson getting touched up for 9? Did you think that maybe Brandon High left him in a little bit too long? It's kind of an interesting spot to be in when you're down 8-9. He gets down 8-1, and you leave him out there. So maybe he's just trying to get some longevity. I don't know. You don't want to go through the bullpen. He's in a big, he's a veteran. Maybe he'll battle through it. Just kind of tell me what you think about them leaving him in the game for that 9-1 hole that the Birds dug themselves in. And then what do you think about Cole Irvin making the spot start? Look forward to hearing from you guys. Hey, make sure that if you haven't already, you like, share, and subscribe to this content and hit that notification bell to notify you every time that I make a video about our beloved Birds. So, hey, you can't win them all. We'll try to get them back tonight, 9:40. We'll check you on the next one, Birdland.